Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we've had a look at the racing tomorrow and I found a few selections that I thought worthy of bringing to a video. It's great that we've got the National Hunt Racing back. Interestingly, I think all of these are actually over fences or over hurdles and fences. So let's kick off with a few at Kempton. Starting off with Freya Darm, who runs in the 325. Now, this is a 2 mile 2 class 3 handicap. And he's actually dropped now down to a mark of 123 over fences. Got to remember, this time last year, he was actually rated 135. And he ran a really good race on his return, finishing 5th in the Burn Group Handicap Chase at Ascot, when travelling really well. We highlighted him that day, we highlighted him after that day, saying he travelled so well, he probably just needed the run. Now, that came off a mark of 135. He's now down to a mark of 123. 123 is too low to be getting in these types of races. And especially even he returned at the end of November for the Jim Barryhurst Park Handicap Chase. He finished second off 133. Again, if he was rated 123, he wouldn't get in. So I kind of feel that they've gone right. We need to get we need to get going with him and get a win into him as soon as possible. And they returned in September for a handicap over 2.5 at Worcester, and he ran okay. Heidi rode that day. I have a feeling that he needed the run that day. It was he hadn't run for 78 days, and I kind of feel that this might have been the target for him. And the reason this has probably been the target is he's got some really good form at Kempton. He finished 6th of 8 in a Grade 2. He's also won a handicap off 120, beating Hadders des Obo comfortably off 120. As I said, he's running off 123. He won a course and distance Class 3 handicap. Even his last time out effort in the Sri Lanka Handicap Chase back in April wasn't a bad effort, to be honest, when finishing 4th behind one more for the road, Fringle Dyke and Prince Aeschylus, in a Class 3 handicap for horses rated 0 to 135. I think that was a better race than this, and he was running off a mark of 130. As I said, he's now down to a mark of 123, and Harry is riding. I think I know Heidi rode last time out, and at the beginning of last season, Harry didn't really jump on it that often. Kieran Gethins, Tristan Durrell, Charlie Todd. Kieran Gethins again had 4 of the first 5 rides on him last season, before they probably thought, okay, we can now get a win into him because he's dropped, or starting to drop in the handicap. He's dropped significantly in the handicap now, and I feel that if they're going to get a win into him and get him up the handicap back into better races, tomorrow's got to be the day. And yeah, I'm quite keen on him tomorrow. I think he's going to run a really big race, and he is currently available at this one here. They've opened him at 100 to 30, and I feel that's about right. He's had the run. Some of his rivals haven't. Bo Balco hasn't, 184 days off the track. Persian Time hasn't, 176 days off the track. Guy has had the run, but I kind of feel that maybe he's already, he has already won this season off a mark of 128, gone up in the handicap. Is this really... is he good enough to keep going up the handicap? I'm not so sure at the age of 9, whereas Freya Darm is only 7. I think he can go back up the handicap, whereas I'm not sure Guy has as much in hand still. I really like Freya Darm, to be honest, and it's almost like last chance saloon, but I think he will win tomorrow. So he is my first selection of the day at Kempton in the 325. Moving on to the 4 o'clock at Kempton, the listed hurdle. Now, in my email, which I'm sure some of you have seen, you'll have seen reasons why I don't think 2 of these will or should win. And those 2 that I'm going to take on for sure are Glory and Fortune, who's probably going to need the run anyway, 583 days off the track, and First Street. First Street makes no sense to me if that horse was to win. Currently rated 140, First Street. Has previously finished 3rd in a Betfair hurdle of 141. So he's £1 lower. but has also finished second in a county hurdle off 142. Why would you go and win this race worth 28 grand and go back up to 146, 147 and probably ruin your chance for a Betfair hurdle or ruin your chance for a county hurdle? Keep it around this mark or even lower. Go back for the Betfair hurdle, and I then think the horse may go really close in something like that. So I've kind of ruled out First Street. Well, that leaves me now with two horses for this race, both at the head of the market, in Rabaul and Casanamento. Now, Paul's horses have been needing the run, Paul Nicholls' horses, and I know he feels that Rabaul is ready. I kind of feel that Rabaul is at about the right sort of grade in terms of, I feel that this is his mark. I know this isn't a handicap, but bear with me on that. So I kind of feel he's about 147, 148, 150 horse, and that's as good as he's going to get. Now, he has to carry 11 stone 8, whereas Casanamento has to carry 10 stone 11. Now, that means there's 8, that's £11 difference that Casanamento's getting. So Casanamento's getting £11 despite only being rated £9 lower. Plus, I feel there's still more to come from Casanamento. Casanamento, look at his form, it's pretty good. Okay, got beat a disappointing 0, however many runs ago that was. That came in the Aintree bumper. Nothing wrong with disappointing in a feature bumper race. Then went to Market Rasen over hurdles, won, then won again at Hereford, then got beat by Queen's Gamble. Now, Queen's Gamble, to be fair, has similar form in terms of has been winning everything. The only time that Queen's Gamble's really been beaten, got beat at Market Rasen by Dysart Enos in a bumper, and then got beat in the Cheltenham Champion bumper. Nothing wrong with being beaten by those types of horses, to be fair, and to be honest. So Casanamento to run Queen's Gamble so close, only beaten 2 3/4 lengths. They were well clear of the rest. And then Casanamento dropped back in class slightly, went to Chepstow for a Mayor's Novice, then went to Punchestown for a listed Mayor's Novice hurdle, won them both, and kind of demonstrated to me that, yeah, Casanamento is actually very good. She will be plenty good enough to really serve it up to Rabaul here, I feel. And Nigel Twiston-Davies's horses are bang in form. They are not needing the run, so although it hasn't run for 171 days, I think she will be the one. I think she's the one to beat tomorrow, not Rabaul. I think there's more to come from Casanamento. I think her handicap mark at the end of the season will be significantly higher than what she is now. So the fact that she's able to get £13 off Rabaul at the end of the season, we might be looking at that and going, yeah, Rabaul had no chance that day. Trying to give all that weight for different reasons to Casanamento. And Casanamento, as I said, is the 11-4 second favourite. Rabaul is the 7-4 favourite. But I'm happy with Casanamento. And I've ruled out First Street. And the others I don't think are going to be good enough. Moving on to the 435. Who do I like in this 435 race? Let's just refresh this page to hopefully get some silks. But they haven't just come through yet. 435. Killer Kane for the Tizzards, or for Joe Tizzard and Freddie Gingell. Now, he claims £3, so he takes £3 off the horse, who is only running off a mark of 122 now. Again, this time last year, the horse was actually rated 132. And at Kempton, even ran in the Coral Trophy off a mark of 131. Only went off 8-1 that day. Didn't run bad, finished 8th. Beaten 12 lengths. This is a significantly easier race. Down to a Class 4 now. Has dropped very quickly from Class 1s and 2s and 3s into a Class 4. Back at Kempton where we know he runs well. Back at Kempton where he's won before. I mean, he's won a Class 3 here. Off 126. When sent off the 13-8 favourite. I mean, off 122 with a £3 claimer on. I think he should be. I think he'll win this quite comfortably, to be honest. And there aren't any odds yet for the race. But if we can get anything above 6-4 for Killer Kane, I think Killer Kane is a great bet here. I think this is a race that they are using similar to Freya Darm, where they're trying to get Killer Kane back up in the handicap to get him back into the races that they want to target. There's better races for him. I mean, he went off 9-4 favourite off 1-3-1 last year for a race over course and distance in a Class 3. This is a Class 4. This is a much easier race than what he has been running in, especially at Kempton. And yeah, I'd be very disappointed if he doesn't win this. And also, if we are able to get anything above 6-4, I think Killer Kane is a good price here, to be honest. Moving on to the 5-10 at Kempton. The horse that I like in this race is Rebel Intentions. This one here for Emma Lavelle and Joe Anderson. So Rebel Intentions has had a run this season, which is always a good thing. And it was a good run. Finished second behind Copsil Lad, the 2-1 favourite. Plenty clear enough of the third, Flashy Boy. Now, so you would then look at what's Copsil Lad done. Copsil Lad, to be fair, had actually done okay for different trainers, including finishing second in a handicap off 106, was winning off 105, had finished second at Fakenham off 108, and had generally gone off short price or favourite for Middleham Park Racing, suggesting they felt that there was still lots more to come from Copsil Lad as soon as he got it right. He probably did get it right on his first start for Harry Derham, and yet he still only just beat Rebel Intentions. Bearing in mind, Copsil Lad had the wind up and was wearing cheap pieces for the first time. Rebel Intentions ran him all the way to the finish, and I thought that was a really good effort. The other positive I feel about Rebel Intentions is this time of year. This time last year, the horse was going to have its third run, and it was actually going to win at Ascot, beating Ed Keeper and Immortal. I think that's really strong form. Obviously, Ed Keeper, I think, came out and won after that, or before. Came out and won after that, comfortably winning a 3-mile handicap of 124. So went up £6 for finishing second of Rebel Intentions, and then won and went up another 9, before then finishing third at Cheltenham in a decent handicap as well. I think that was really good form from Rebel Intentions. I think this is the time of year. Rebel Intentions last season, at the beginning of the season, went 1-2-1-3, and then it dropped off. 6, pulled up 5th, 13th. We're back at the beginning again. Finished second, got beat by the right horse in Copsil Lad. I think tomorrow is a good time to catch Rebel Intentions at the beginning of the season, and I think Rebel Intentions will run a really big race tomorrow at Kempton. Again, unfortunately, there's no prices, but I have a feeling he's not going to be favourite. I think the likes of Farsight, Stanley, Pinkham, maybe even Full Monty could be a shorter price than Rebel Intentions tomorrow, which would be nice because I really like Rebel Intentions. Going to Limerick now for the Munster National. The horse that I'm really keen on here. It is very boring because it is the 4-1 favourite. Horansu Dairy, I think, wins tomorrow. Has been very carefully looked after by Willie Mullins, especially over fences. Took in some interesting races last season. Had previously been in Grade 1 hurdles, finished 7th of 8 in a Grade 1 hurdle. Then went over fences and won a beginner's chase. Then won a conditions chase at Clonmel before going to Roscommon and getting beat in a novice chase. Now, I kind of feel that they were going, we need to find a race with him and we're targeting a feature handicap. They got him beat at Galway in a Grade 3 behind Ashdale Bob and Sailor V. For me, that's proper good form. I am a massive fan of Ashdale Bob over 2.5 mile. The runner-up, Sailor V, has come out and won since. He went and won at Tramore, beating Zanahir. Well, Zanahir had previously finished third in 2 champion hurdles. Sailor V beating Zanahir demonstrates that's really good form. I think this is just shy of Grade 1 form, Ashdale Bob and Sailor V. So Harantsu Dairy then disappointed in a novice chase when falling. And then they went, okay, we'll go and win a handicap. They stepped up in trip, they went to 3 mile, and they thought they would win a handicap. And to be honest, they got beat by a Grade 1 horse in Flooring Porter. Flooring Porter's done nothing wrong in his whole career. We were on, obviously, that day for the Kerry National. I was surprised at the initial price of him, and then, obviously, he did get supported towards the end, or late on, and he won quite nicely. But he was given such an easy lead. Haranstu Dairy would have gone closer if he'd been given a better ride. But he beat the rest out of sight. The others were nowhere near his level. Yes, this is probably slightly deeper race in terms of there was not as many quality handicappers in against him. But I think the fact that he only went up £4 for that, I don't think that's enough to stop Haranstu Dairy. I think he's a really smart horse. And he's going to win this and end up in graded races again at the end of the season. He'll be back in Grade 2, Grade 1 company. And yeah, I think he's the one to beat here. I think all the others have little question marks, whereas Haranstu Dairy is a graded horse running in a handicap and has just been beaten by graded horses en route even to here. You know, even his last time out when he was second to Flooring Porter, he was beaten by a Grade 1 horse there. And finally, the last selection is in the Durham National. Disappointed to not see your own story running in this. I thought this would have been a perfect race to try and win and then end up in better races. But I do have a selection in this, and that is just... Why do I keep picking all the ones with foreign French names that are really difficult to say? Jesuitique, I'm going to go for. Why do I like Jesuitique? Horse actually ran in this race last year. Went off the 2-1 favourite, off a marker 125, and ran well for a long way behind Tommy Bow and No Cruise Yet. Actually jumped the last, not that far behind the front two. Ended up finishing just under 5 lengths behind the pair who crossed the line together. But he came back lame. He came back lame despite travelling well for a long way and then not even being beaten far. He still came back lame. What would he have done if he didn't come back lame? I think he would have won it. Okay, that came off a marker 125. He's running off 123. And he ran on the 27th of September over 2 miles 7 in a novice chase. He's had a run to get him fit. And it was I thought it was a good race, to be honest. Hometown Boy, We've All Been Caught, Enchaleur, all good horses in against him. That was just purely to get him fit. To come back for this, they were obviously disappointed they got beat in this race last year, especially as he's come back lame. They would have gone, we would have gone so well if he hadn't been lame. Well, they've got him back perfectly. He's fit, he's had the run. If he gets round off a lower mark, what's the negatives about him? He went off 2-1 favourite last year. He should be about that this year, surely. Let's have a look. You can currently get 5s about him. He's a much bigger price than what he was. I know Good Time Johnny has the potential, but I think that's all it is. Does he really stay this trip? I'm not so sure. Jesuitique, I thought, ran so well last year, all the way until probably when he started to feel a little bit of lameness in one of his front fours, one of his forelegs. That's Fore. And yeah, if he doesn't do that this year, which you would be disappointed if he did that again, but if he gets around all fine, I think he's going to run a huge race here, and I think they've planned this after getting beat in this race last year. So that's Jesuitique, who's available currently at 5s. So a quick recap of my selections for tomorrow. Frere Dame at 100 to 30, back at Kempton, in a race that he can win. He needs to win to go up in the handicap to get in better races. Casanamento, I think, is better than its current handicap mark, whereas I don't think Rabau is. And if we said that Casanamento was, say, £5 or £6 better, the weight that she's getting is too much compared to what Rabau obviously has to give away for winning a listed race previously and also being a gelding. I think that's too much, and I think Casanamento, especially with Nigel Twiston-Davies being bang in form. I like Rebel Intentions. I think this is the time of year to catch Rebel Intentions. That defeat to Copsill Lad was a good performance. There was nothing wrong with that. I still think there's plenty more to come from Rebel Intentions. Whoops, wrong race. Oh, I missed a race, didn't I? I missed the 4:35, which is Killer Kane. I think Killer Kane has to win tomorrow to get himself back up into better quality races. Down in a Class 4, off this weight, with Freddie taking another £3 off, he really should go and take all of the beating here. Anything above 6 to 4, I'll be very happy with. At Limerick, I think Harant's Dairy just bumped into a Grade 1 horse last time out in Flooring Porter and has probably been beaten in other races by graded horses. Are any of these proper graded horses? Maybe Favori de Champdou, but he's so inconsistent and difficult to get right. I think there's lots more to come from Harant's Dairy. And finally, Jesutique in the Durham National. I think they've planned to come back here after it didn't quite work last year. He gets back, he's fit, and he's off a lower mark. And he's a significantly bigger price than he went off last year. Thanks for listening. Hopefully we've got a few winners today at Ascot and tomorrow at Kempton, Limerick and Sedgefield.